Welcome to another stream. Welcome to my studio. Welcome to a painting discourse. Today, I want to continue working on my project for the non-profit organization that I'm part of. Many of you probably know that this is something that it's one of my other projects. Most of the time on the stream when I work, I dealt with paintings with the classical medium, which is oil paint for me. This is like a combination of classical medium and some kind of a concept art. That's why it's a little bit more challenging for me. There is a stuff that I'm trying to design myself and then incorporate it into a composition. The process is basically the same, so I don't want to waste anyone's time to describing everything separately, because as I go along, I more often than not talk a little bit too much than anything else. The one thing that I want to start with is that this is not a video or stream for people that want to watch it. This is not step by step. This is not paint by number. This is something that should help you to work alongside with me. So grab your paper, pen, oil paints, acrylics, I don't know, clay if you're sculpting, grab your digital pens or your tablets to paint digitally. Or grab a piece of paper and pen and write an essay, write a paper, because that's the best way to enjoy these streams. I am trying to create the safe environment for people that want to create, that they are not alone alone in terms of painting. It takes really long time to create. It's not something that you start late at night before you went to bed, and morning suddenly appears the actual work. So that's why I'm encouraging everybody not to watch this. It's a waste of your time if you're watching it. Work alongside with me, please. That's the best way to improve. My streams are really long. Sometimes they have 2 or 3 hours, and they are all about the painting. I call this painting discourse. I mentioned this many times. Discourse means that there is a plenty ideas. There's a discussion about what the painting is, what the art is, what the composition should be, and that's the beauty of that. And you can choose which parts you like and which are questionable and which you dislike, you should be able to create your own work. You should be able to create your own identity within the space of art. So instead of just sitting and watching and I don't want to say wasting your time, grab any kind of art supplies that you have and please work alongside with me. So that's actually about the introduction. That's it. I don't have excuse me, I don't have any specific way of painting. I don't have, oh, this is my set of brushes that you have to use in order to get here. None of that. I don't talk about the brands. I don't talk about specific pigments that I use. I don't go and force upon you that you have to have these paints in order to mix it the way that I do. That's all your choosing. So I might use really bad brushes and good quality pigments, but that's the way how I approach it. You can choose to have really expensive, cool, awesome brushes. I don't, because I don't like them. I like the household brushes. I like to paint with fingers. I like to use charcoal. I like to use all kinds of different mediums. So check the box with, oh, what kind of art supplies do I need, whichever one you want. The only thing that I will be talking about is the properties of the colors and pigments that I use. So that's something that you might really be interested in, way more than, oh, I'm going to buy this specific brand and paint, and then I'm going to be able to paint that way. It doesn't work that way. Any professional will tell you that the tools are just like an extension of your hand, and your hand is extension of your ideas. So as long as you have a solid idea, or even though if you don't have a solid idea, just put it on the paper and start working on it. So that's about the materials. It's just a new short version of my introduction to materials, because I was repeating myself over and over again, and I don't want to waste time with going over the same thing again and again. So we can just get right into the painting, but I almost forgot. There is a construction going on around in the building, and I know that I always have with these streams some kind of a problem. Sometimes it's like something happening on the streets. There are some street musicians, and there is a construction. Unfortunately, that's something that, you know, it's happening here because I'm in the historic center of the city. So there's always something going on. So if you hear some noise or some, you know, construction kind of a background annoyances, I'm sorry, I can't really do anything about it. That's one of the reasons why I didn't stream for a while, because there was just, it was really difficult. I didn't feel comfortable recording. So that being said, I'm all set right now to work. So let's look at the concept that I have right here. It's a knight. He's holding a shield in one hand and then the sword in another hand, and he has a helmet. There is nothing extraordinary about this, and it shouldn't be. This is just a very simple concept. But this very simple concept is actually bread and butter of any other project that you will encounter, because it starts with these simple ideas, and then you can start developing on them. For now, I worked a little bit with the certain shapes that I didn't like. Not that they were wrong, they just did not fit to that personality of that painting that I or the character that I want to create, rather. That would be a better example. So I worked again with my trusty charcoal. I love to work with it because it's just easy to erase and get rid of. And again, I'm doing it with my hand, and I shouldn't, because then the charcoal is all over my face. So you can always wipe it off, and you can repaint it very easily. So that's the one reason why I like to use the very soft wine or willow charcoal. I mentioned multiple times that the stream is just it's like a tip of the iceberg of the preparation work that you have to do before actually going with this scale. That means that I have a sketches, I have concepts that I created. I have everything kind of prepared before I attempt to work large. So keep that in mind, that this is not just, you know, oh, I'm kind of get idea. Oh, I want to paint night. So I just grabbed the 2 meter by 1 meter size of canvas and start to paint. Now everything was pre-planned. I knew where the composition will be, how I want to put him, and I'm moving left and right a little bit, only because I'm within a perimeters that I have, the size of the canvas. I want to make sure that he sits perfectly compositionally, or as close to a perfect composition as I can get it. And I know that the perfection, it doesn't exist, but maybe rephrase myself, or actually not even rephrase, to change that statement. I'm trying to get it as aesthetically pleasing as possible. That would be probably the closest way for me to describe what I'm working on when I'm moving things left and right on the canvas directly. So you can see me move the shoulders a little bit. You can see the little lines that are going back and forth. You can see me looking at my tablet, that it's right here, where I also have, as I mentioned before, I took a picture. I have a digital version of this painting with the proper size. I ported into my software that I'm working on digitally, and I did a little sketching and adjusting, and I moved certain things. Before I used to do it in the sketchbook, so I had to always resketch everything, and I even though it's great for still keeping and practicing sketching and be in that kind of a mindset that you still work and sketch, I prefer to do it in Photoshop because it's quicker and it's giving me a little bit more of that exactness of the result that I'm looking for. When it comes to keeping it in the kind of the same color and the same tone and the same values. So it's just kind of a consistency check for me as well. But I'm used to, resketch everything, move it again, and resketch and resketch and resketch. That's why some of my projects takes forever, because I'm not satisfied with the certain things. When I see them actually already in on the canvas, and that's nothing unusual. It's plenty of these happening with other artists. So if you have a doubt about or feeling that something is wrong, I mentioned this also multiple times, probably something is wrong and you should rethink it, resketch it, repaint it, or maybe deal with a problem the way that excuse me, you think it's the most efficient and most beneficial. Something is in my throat, I'm sorry. So, speaking about that preparation and painting in general, I give myself enough time today when I get into the studio to think about what I would like to change, what I would like to move. And I did a couple, quick lines, and I believe that you might be able to see them. They're moving across around here. I'm playing with the idea of moving the chainmail higher up towards the shoulder, just to give a little bit more of that a feeling of armor being placed and draped. And I'm not sure sometimes, I can't even say it properly, because sometimes I think it's, when I'm looking at it from a distance and I'm seeing it on the canvas and I like it as it drapes right now, but then when I look to certain references, it feels like it's wrong because it wasn't, and it's still something. I apologize. Something is in my throat that I cannot. Excuse me. So where was I? I was talking about the position. And today I stopped myself with moving things around, and I realized that for me the most important part is the composition. So if it's compositionally sound, even in that design department or character creation, that's, for me, it's still the most important is composition. And then the second and third is that whether or not it's historically perfectly accurate, we will never know what's exactly historically accurate from 1100s, because we didn't live in that era and we don't have anything more than just a written ideas about how people behave and what they did. So we can't really judge that properly. I think that we can judge it with certainty. So that's why I think that I'm not going to be obsessing about that, you know, the chainmail exactness, and rather I will just, you know, take that you know, the so-called artistic license, and I'll just make I will just paint it the way that I want, that I like, rather than it's supposed to be. And of course it will follow the idea about the composition. So when I'm looking at it right now, and you see me going back and forth, because that's and sometimes even out of the frame, because that's something that that's my thought process, I guess you could call it. I look at something, I evaluate that from a distance, and I'll get closer, and then I'll correct it. It has it might be annoying a little bit, but then after long time of doing this, I understand the benefits of that, going back and forth, and you should too as well. You should give yourself a chance to see it in its entirety, and then be really critical with your work. Be really, really critical. And also, I have mirrors that I look into, so I see the mirrored image, and that always helped me, because I'm biased towards certain things, and I have and not only I think most of us, we have a problem with putting everything on the same line, whether it's horizontally or vertically, and that might be a problem, that might be compositionally boring, and that's immediately obvious whenever you look into a mirror, for me at least. So I'm correcting things. I know that I draw some symbols on his just because I feel like that's a really, this part, it's really like kind of an empty space that needs to have some kind of interest there as well. And I think when I'm looking at colors right now, I think that cloth could be a little bit warmer than it is right now. And I remember that at the end of the last stream, I was warming it up a little bit, because I had a feeling of moving way too much into that kind of the metallic kind of a cold temperature. So I'll probably start with that, because that's like a really main concern of mine right now. And then I should probably address that background again. Even though I like the way how it helped that painting, I feel that I'm trying to color correct or color harmonize everything against that very vibrant, very high chroma background, which is good and bad. Or I should say, which might be beneficial and counterproductive simultaneously. So these are the things that you should evaluate really think about them. When you work with the classical oil paint medium, because it's almost impossible to get back to that kind of underpainting feeling, the randomness, that chaotic background. When you work digitally, you can just Control Z that. So I don't have a Control Z, unfortunately, or fortunately. So I hear that really strong construction noises, so I apologize if you hear them too. So, but then I'm looking at this and I feel that if I move it a little bit more towards that, because I don't want to go warmer or extremely warm, because I don't want to lose the kind of a harmony between the shield and the cloth. I don't know. Well, let's see. Maybe I'll work a little bit on this area right here, because I have something that I wanted to add to this. I want make his belt a little thicker, a little bigger. And then maybe I'll push this a little bit. Okay, so I'm just gonna, let's see. Yeah, I'll definitely work on the belt right now, because that's something that kind of that needs to be addressed, because I want to connect the top part with the upper half with the lower half. Yeah, let me pull up a little bit of a reference. Yeah. All right, so let's do some mixing. And as you can see, I did not put the blue on my palette right now. And the reason is I found myself using that blue versus orange the primary against the opposite secondary color on the color wheel, and it's my aesthetical color bias. So I don't have a mirror for that kind of a bias fix. So I just limited myself not using these colors right now, and let's see what's going to happen. So I want to put a little bit more emphasis right here. And by emphasis, I want to make sure that I have that that outside shape, or outside shape. It's not an outside shape. I want this shape to be a little bit more defined. Maybe work on some folds, because I feel like I'm missing folds, and that's giving him like the very straightforward kind of a cylinder vibe. So I'm trying to create these. And I was thinking maybe I should put the indication of the folds. And I have some references for the folds right here. So and you can see me going back and forth with this. Making it lighter, making it darker. It's just an experimentation. I'm trying to find the proper to go all the way here and here. Let's see. Theoretically, I could go here and here. That's cool. So this is going to be that kind of a light part. And more paint. I'm trying to introduce folds, and I'm trying to do it with the correct value and a little bit warmer temperature, a little bit more goes like so. Okay. So I could introduce a fault right here. I'm looking at my reference, so it could go like so. Then it goes up right here. Faults here. And creates a wedge like so. And I don't have the right value right now for that dark. Because it's way too dark right now, but I need to make it a little darker than it should be for the sake of me being able to see it from a distance, that those little changes and shifts. Okay. Let's see if I push that belt a little bit more. I think this might work, but you know, unless I put it down there, I won't be 100% sure. Okay, I'm introducing a little bit more of that vibrant or more chromatic paint, and I made it a little thicker, that the belt, because I had a feeling that it's just okay, so I can put this, this, and this there. All right, and I'm just, again, I am designing an element of that armor of his within a composition. So again, composition is number one, and that these design pieces has to, or these design pieces have to support and help that composition rather than just go against it. And then I'll have this, it's go that way, let's jump on, and then goes in, okay. So I'm trying to create a little bit of feeling that the center line, it's not going just directly like so, because that's kind of boring. It makes him look very cylindrical. That's the first idea. The second idea, and I draw it, you know, you see like from the pit of the neck, so that will be the muscles, that would be the clavicles right here, right, approximately, and then I'm going down, there is a chest area, and we're going down towards the midpoint of his body. And I know that the chainmail does not, you know, wrinkle that much as the fabric, so I'm trying to create the difference between the metal and the fabric, not only with the texture, not only with the color, not only with the saturation, not only with the material, but also with the way how the material interacts in the real world. So I want to create a little fold that's going down right here, and then emerges, and it goes right here. Then I have another fold that's going in, and this, and what I'm drawing right now is the center line, and then I have a little bulge right here because of how it's tucking in inside. So from straight one center line, I'm trying to create a kind of a more three-dimensional part that things are wrapping around him as a general sense, but they're also protruding and going inside like the fabric would, like fabric normally would. So where was I? So I want to create like a little fold right here. And I'm right now working with that traditional kind of a zigzag that you mostly familiar with the sleeves. I'm kind of doing that kind of a sleeve right now in his body, and the reason is because the cloth, the garment that he's wearing kind of represents the sleeve, but for the torso. So I'm kind of following the same principle. So that's here, and then it's folding this way. They should go probably lower here. It should go lower here, and then it's going this way. I can push it a little here, and then again I can push it here. And I'm making little marks for myself, so it's a little bit this way, and maybe here. A little here. So I'm trying to create that interest within the boundary that that I created for myself in terms of composition, right? So, and then I need to create a little more thickness in that armor. That's another thing that I need to work with, because I felt that the armor, it's not thick enough. It lays kind of very thinly. It's like a veil rather than just a heavy armor. So I'll be adding a little bit more of that thickness. So it's going to create a cast shadow, and it's going to create a form shadow. All right, cool. So for a second, this might look like I'm destroying that overall shape, but that goes back to what I was talking about in previous streams. You're more than welcome to check out there on YouTube that I am trying to connect the things and then disconnect and then connect and then disconnect, and I'm looking for that perfect balance. So what I'm doing right now, I'm disconnecting it purposely. Cool, 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 cool. So it's starting to take shape. And I'm not saying that this is how it's going to end, but it's starting to get that shape of, let me just maybe create a little bit of a half tone, something a little darker. Way too warm, let's see. Cool. So I'm correcting that really dark. Oops. A little darker. A little cooler. And again, I hope that you are painting alongside with me. And also, if you have any questions, so please feel free to ask. I'll try to answer as many questions as I possibly can. Okay, I need to make it a little cooler. These are going to be soft edges right there. And this might be a little lighter. And then here, a little lighter. Okay, but right now he looks like he has a really thick belly, so I need to correct that as well. And I think whole this can go a little darker. darker. So this is a half tone, half tone. This needs to be shadow. This needs to be shadow. And it's all the way here. Okay. And I know that right now it looks a little too much, but in moments like this, you have to trust the process. Not mine necessarily, but the one that you chose to. this. It's going like so. Dips right here. Okay, so this right here, there's a little triangle right here. There's a little triangle right here. And the reason why I'm saying triangles, because like I said, I'm doing this zigzag fold. And then fold, fold, and it's go all the way here, like so. And then I have a little triangle right here. Okay. Okay. It's starting to be a little bit more like a fabric. So it's folding left and right. Right now, as you might remember, I was talking about that connecting and disconnecting things. And it looks like that right now, the amount of information that I put there does not reflect that kind of a, that it's wrapping around. And it has everything to do with the values are not correct. As I started to move and put things around, things got disconnected and unclear, and right now it's just a mush of paint. It's like an abstract painting. And I mentioned this multiple times that I like to work abstractly. Not necessarily it's not necessarily the only way how to work, but the kind of a abstract feel to it always makes me appreciate that. How much of interpretation we are capable. Cool, cool, cool. So we're here, and then this is where I need to get a little bit more. Okay, let's push this a little lower, see what's gonna happen, and then push this part a little bit more towards the light. Okay, so it's starting to shape up a little bit more like a fabric, and it might look too much right now, and the reason is because, again, I'm in the stage where I developed more of the information there, and starting to overpower every other part of the painting. So I have to continue working on that other parts as well. So I get the point of reference for that. Whether or not it's actually working. So I have to put more detail into that belt, and I need to bring a little bit more of that warmth towards that bottom part. And perhaps just maybe what if I just again unify this. And then I need to just push it this direction a little bit. And again, you can see me moving that back and forth. That chainmail. Cool. this, this, and that. Okay, that is kind of working. Let me see if I have a different reference. I have a little bit of that. Let me see. So a little bit here. And it's going this way, but and I'm again looking at that buckle and how it moves and works when it's okay. Yeah, it's shaping up a little better right now, and it's starting to have a, because that, if you remember previously I was talking about that I had a feeling that the belt was too thin. And the feeling was compositionally, and then I felt also that when I'm thinking about that idea of when I'm thinking about that idea of the belt holding a sword, and you know, it's a thing that's supposed to function. So I had a feeling that it's not working very well, that it is too that it looks like a decoration rather than just a functional piece of equipment of this night. Maybe I should introduce a little bit more, like the heavier kind of a shadow underneath, so it has a little better presence, or bigger or thicker, I don't know. What's the... I want to maybe cut into this a little bit. Yep. Right. this way. There is way too much noise here. And again, I felt that way too much noise on that fabric, and it's kind of overpowering that chainmail. So I wanna create the mesh on the chainmail, and then I want to create the folds in the fabric and divide that kind of a repetition that way. Okay, so a few folds here and there. And again, I'm trying to make sure, and you see me going there with my fingers. The reason is I'm trying to soften the edges. I don't want to have here a really sharp edges because they're not necessarily there. I want to keep sharp edges for a focal point, as we discussed multiple times on this stream. So and I'm also playing with the position of that fabric a little bit. I'm moving it a little left, a little right, depends on the composition, and also trying to create the feel of that it's wrapping around and behind, which is very important for me, especially because I like that feeling of kind of a three-dimensional I'm going back and forth. I'm sorry. I'm trying to say something, and and paint simultaneously and think, and it doesn't work very well. That is a. So I'm looking at that, I'm evaluating it, and I know that it doesn't seem that I did that much, but you can definitely see that I've warmed it a little bit. So I'm trying to keep it in the same kind of a color harmony, but I want to make sure that this is completely different object than this. This is going to be a wooden shield, this is a fabric, and this is a metal. So I want to create that difference visually, temperature-wise or chroma-wise. So yeah, just give me a second. I'll be right back. Sorry guys, for a second I had to step out. Okay, so I want to continue working on this because there are plenty of things that I need to address, and one of my concerns is that I started that thought, the difference between feeling of that I have a leather here, I have a wood, that's going to be probably a wooden shield, then I have a steel, and I have a cloth. So these are all different textures, different materials, and I think it's very, very important to pay attention to these things, because not because it's absolutely necessary. I mean, if you're doing just a quick graphic representation, you don't need to be concerned as much about these things, but I'm already in the stage fully fully fleshed that idea that I want to that's going to be wood, that's going to be leather, that's going to be a cloth, that's going to be a metal. So for me, it's important to create that distinction. And I'm looking for in my library for the references that could help me with the buckle, especially. So I have some photo references of buckles, and I have my own belt in the back that I use as a prop. So it's going this way, it's going this way. Okay. Yeah, so I'll have it. Okay, so I'm correcting that that buckle. I'm just trying to make it really buckle-like looking, if that's the proper word. And I'm kind of outlining it right now, and the reason is because I want to see how it's going to work against the other elements there. So I have this, and I need also a little bit of this. So it's going this direction here. And let's make these like a two separate belts. Okay. see if this is where I want to be. Cool, nice. So I have a this going this direction all the way here. Okay, I'm trying to and then maybe I could put a little bit more of that, make this a little smaller. Show a little bit more of that. Let's bring a little lighter value right now. I need a little lighter value. A little more chroma. Okay. That may be a little bit too much of a, let's see, let's make it a little smaller. I think this is a little too much. Of an angle there. Yeah. Okay. Let's make sure that I have a little bit of a side plane there. Okay. think this should be a little lighter, and I'm putting the lighter value there. And the reason why I'm doing this is because I want to protect my light values. And not only did I want to protect them, they got a little too kind of I don't want to say a word muddy, but they just got way too close in terms of values to each other, and they created kind of a mush. Soft edge, I'm just working with a soft edge right now. Cool, and I should probably push this a little bit more into a I'm trying to warm it up a little bit. I have a little too much paint there on the top, so I am slowly removing it, but I'm not scraping it completely. It's just I still have like a really thin kind of a transparent feel to it there, which creates like a really interesting effect. Softer edges right here. Cool. And softer edge right here. Cool. So you can see me go back and forth in that fabric. And it needs to be soft edge here as well. And the reason is that nothing is set in stone here right now. I'm just really exploring and moving and pushing things around. It's paint. I'm really looking for a proper representation of that. Of that fabric. And the problem that I have right now is that I'm really trying to, it's not a problem, it's just a thing that thing that I remind myself is that make sure that the way that you're applying paint or the way that you're painting it creates that different feeling of a different material. Oops. And I feel that this is a little too much. So kind of sticking out a little too much. It's creating like the weird feeling. I'm looking for references that I have here. different ideas for fabric. So it's going this way and there, and then inside this way, okay. And then we create a little bit of okay, I'm trying to put a little bit more of that more of that structure here a little bit. changing these faults a little bit because I felt they are just too repetitive and it created kind of that, like this shape, it's way too symmetrical. I know it should be, but it feels like it's not symmetrical in terms of perspective. So I'm correcting these. So it's going this way and then this way and this way. Okay. Cool. Then I have a little sliver. Maybe suggested here that this is going this way. Yeah. It's going this way. And then it should be way more of that dark value here, or halftone if you wish. So I'll have a halftone here, halftone there. And trust me, this is one of the most challenging things for me to do, to try to create differences between materials. And simultaneously keep that believability of the materials. I'm not satisfied with that feeling of those folds. Here. And that crease right here. Let me just try something. Let me just maybe put that. So this is going to be a center line. So I'm going this way right here. It's bulging and it's going in. And that's probably angle way too steep. But let's try how it's going to play out. Then it's going to inside right here. And then again, it emerges here. It's going this way and in, and then emerges here, and then it's going in at the center line. I think this would work as a center line right now. And the reason why I painted it this way is that I want to make sure, because I want to connect that with the shield, and I was thinking that I will put, you remember previously I had like a little logo, and then I realized that no, I'm just going to put the big one. It looked better to me. To make a nice big cross that will help that issue a little bit. So let's see, so it's going all the way from here, like so, then inside, and this way, and inside. And the reason why I want to put the bigger logo there is that I see where the problem is right now. is that compositionally the distance between here and here is the same than here and here, and almost the same than here. So I spread it, or I separated it into 3 exact, or almost exact, three almost exact divisions horizontally. And this is something that, if anything, this is when you should start paying attention to if you're watching and working alongside, because this is the moment of self-correction. Somehow I knew that something is wrong with the fault, and I was looking, going back and forth, not understanding what should be changed. And you probably, watching this, spotted immediately that that's the problem. But since I'm looking at it, I'm working with it, it's a little bit more difficult for me to see the issue. And what if I push it all the way here? And here. What I want to say is that you probably saw the issue immediately, because you are looking at it with a perspective with a fresh eye, and I'm staring at this painting for a while already. So. So not being able to see it, it's totally my fault. Yeah, it's starting to take shape right now a little better. I think that I believe that I could push it even a little bit more. Let me see. Interesting. Cool. Yeah, this looks way better. I needed to place a little pattern there, and I know that it doesn't look right immediately, but oops, I'm sorry. But this is going to help me to visually work with those folds and where do I want to have them. And this is an element that I was thinking about to put it there. I wasn't sure, but right now I absolutely 100% need it there because compositionally everything was relatively in the correct position in terms of what I like, but this was a very generic cylindrical shape in the middle of the composition. Not middle, in the middle of the canvas, and I needed to break it down a little bit so it doesn't look that that boring. And that's the difference between just painting and then creating, or composing for that matter. Because I saw something that I didn't like, and you definitely saw me struggle there, and I wasn't sure what to do. And I took a short break, and I realized that I need to make some changes. So let's see if I can correct right now those folds and make them a little bit more interesting. And I'm going to push this a little bit. Because even my okay, I need to lighten it a little bit. Yeah, it's definitely getting better step by step. There's some corrections that need to be. This probably could go this way. should soften this a little bit. This seems too much there. And here as well. Cool. It felt like it's overpowering. Okay, so I reintroduced a couple more elements there, which the sole purpose of this is just to bring a little bit more of that, not a detail, but a little bit more of the elements that supposed to help. And I know that I placed it there, the color, and right now you see me kind of wiping it away, but the reason is that it's still there. It's sitting on the top of the, oops. It's sitting on the top of the color, the top of the other pigments, other oil paints that are underneath that. Right. Let's see. Let's see. Very soft transition here. Soft transition here. Soft transition here. Okay. It's going this way. Okay, I'm adding a little bit more folds there, but these are just the really So I could create a little bit more of that interest in between those verticals that I created. I'm sorry, horizontals that I created. I was just separating, you know, the exactness, the sameness. Okay, so it's, but this is a one continuous. I don't think I like that it's going. Maybe you should go a little lower. Maybe you should go a little lower. So it's going this way, right here, up right here, down here. Going up here. Oops. And then I can move it all the way here in the back. Okay. And I have this. And let me make this little half tone. I'm looking at from a different directions, like an upside down kind of a. Okay, and I could right now. This is going here. This could go darker. Perhaps to make a lost edge right there. This is really a let's make the lost edge right here. I'm trying to really keep those zigzag folds there, but I don't want them to be making this figure like with the kind of a, I don't know, we call it beer belly here. So I don't want him to have a beer belly. it's folding this way, it's folding here behind, and it's going behind this way, wrapping around this way. And again, I have a paint on the canvas, and I'm kind of modeling with existing paint on the canvas, and then okay, so it's going this direction, this way. There's a couple folds there. Another fold here. So it's going this way, this way. So there's going to be darker value here. Just a slight half tone. This area needs to be a little darker. Because it's turning away from us, it's wrapping around a little bit. Maybe I could introduce a little bit more of the one more. One more fold, like right here, perhaps. So I have another. Did I put it exactly in the middle in between these two folds? Probably I did, as I know myself. And then maybe a little lighter value here. Just a little contrast. And it goes away from us. As it goes away from us, okay. And I could perhaps connect it here. So let me just bring a little lighter value here. Cool. Soft transition. Soft transition, okay. So let's stand back and see what's happening. Okay, right now it's a little too much of these random lines there, but that's only because I did not. Well, this is going to be. I don't even know how to approach explaining what I'm trying to do. So let's look at this from the hierarchy that I'm always talking about. So the first and foremost, there is a composition at the top of anything that I'm trying to do right here, right now. So I was, like I said, I was not satisfied. There was a missing element. It was something was not working. The reason why what I was trying to do is to create the folds that are clearly from a different material than everything around it. Plus, I want to continue with a kind of a diagonal motion. Why? Because I have a figure that is very, very, very vertical. I created these folds that are horizontal. I have a shield that is horizontal. I have these symbols that are horizontal. I have a belt that is horizontal, and I'm missing diagonal. So I'm trying to tackle multiple things at once, which is composition, within existing composition. I'm not sure if because this is the, how would I even, oh, this is probably, it's a composition within a composition. So I had this big idea where the silhouette, where the silhouette sits. So I divided positive space against the negative space. And right now, within that positive space, I'm trying to create another division between positive and negative space. I have multiple different ways to do it, and I'm trying to use all of them. So we talked about the hue, we talked about the saturation, we talked about the tone, value, we talked about the edges. And right now, on top of that, we have differences between materials and another elements, design elements that that I'm introducing to this painting. So there is enormous amount of consideration in terms of what is going to be included, what needs to be what needs to disappear from the painting, or what not to put there. I don't know, man. This is, I'm really, these ideas are really sitting at the edge of my own understanding. That would be probably how to put it the best. What I'm doing right now is really, really at the edge of my own understanding, and it's when you think about the composition, for myself, maybe someone who's looking at that immediately know what to do and how to fix it. But the question is, am I going to fix it for sake of fixing it, or am I going to fix it so it compositionally works? So it compositionally works, and that's really the main problem that I have. That's something that when you watch the previous streams, you can see in the Cyril and Methodius painting that I have, and actually any painting for that matter that is in my studio, because there is a plenty quick kind of a guide how to fix the problems with the folds, with the, I don't know, fingers or face or whatever, but I'm thinking strictly abstractly right now in terms of a composition. That's the most important part for me. So everything else is just a noise around. And it takes enormous amount of, for me, especially for me, it takes enormous amount of a brain power to be able to figure it out, because I want you to move through the painting with your eyes. I want you to inspect it. I want you to imagine certain things. It's the same way as with the book. You have the text and your brain's supposed to fill all the blanks. And I'm trying to lead with that idea in my painting. That it's you who are deciding to what this represents for you. Rather than just me giving you all the information, because I think that's boring. And again, I have a feeling that the fabric that he's wearing is very close to on values and on the in terms of the kind of a overall tone or hue, very close to that armor. So instead of pushing this even more yellow, because I'm comparing it with this blue, this should go a little bit darker, I believe. If I create the fold right here, that would be pretty cool, and it could go this way, and then I could create something here as well. Okay, let's see. So I'm just and I'm, this might seem a little bit weird as well, because I'm jumping from the graphic representation to three-dimensional to abstract, and the reason is because all of them are important to me. so I'm correcting that a little bit more. Because I feel that this needs to go a little bit more this way. I think. Because I'm thinking about where the shoulder is. I think that I made this a little too wide. Let me see. So push it this way a little bit more. So I open it up and it's going here, here, here. Here's the shoulder. It's right here and here. Okay, so leave this. Okay, that might look way too dark right now, but okay, that's all right because I am going to correct it with paint. I'm trying to unify that. and create that kind of a feeling of a armor. Okay, so I'm trying to unify that armor a little bit more, so it feels like it's one piece. But then I need to put a little shadow here, because I think that that's what's missing. The division between. Okay. Let's maybe put a little bit more of that yellow right here to see what's going to happen. Cool. Okay. And what if I would put a little bit more of that right here to create a little bit more of that contrast right here. I'm pushing it a little, maybe a little brighter than I would like to, but that's okay. Okay, and let's right now And I'm softening edges right now. That's basically what I do. And the reason why I'm doing it is so it will not overpower where I want you to look, the focal point. All right. And I'm looking at that. And it's starting to work with me, not against me. So we'll see how this is going to play out. I think this is a good time for me to stop. And again, look into these folds, maybe redraw them again, find another idea how to deal with it. I'm looking at this triangle. I don't like this triangle. It is, again, the distance between here and here is the same between here and it's just these three shapes are starting to look the same to me. So there's plenty of adjustments to do right now. And remember, whenever you change shape right here, it's going to influence everything that it's around. So be mindful of that. Maybe, and that's not maybe. I'm just looking at it, and again, I don't know if you can see it, but the thickness of this is the same as the thickness of this. It's just, I understand that that might be a same belt, it's just going twice around, but I created the overlap, and I created the overlap that was intended to make the difference between them. It's just that those are these little things that really, when you look at the Grid Masters, they don't, not that they don't do these mistakes. You will probably be able to find them there, but the problem is that once I see it, I cannot unsee that. And again, I have am I going to make this thicker? Am I going to make this thicker? And if I make this thicker, is it going to be exactly the same than this and this and this? And just the problems that the amount of problems with composition or design of the shapes that I want to use are starting to pile up, because they're increasing exponentially. The more information that you put into your painting or any project at the beginning, the more difficult it happens for you to be able to fix it. I don't know if this makes sense. So let me rephrase that. Let me just, create a coherent idea in my brain about what I'm trying to say. Is that if I keep things very loose and simple, it's easier for me to do these adjustments rather than when I have already created the buckle, the position, the movement, you put the value there, you put the chroma there, and right now it's really difficult to balance all these things at once. So the longer you keep it simple, the easier for you is going to be to adjust it. And furthermore, it's going to be easier for you to see the mistakes. So learn from my mistakes. I hope that you were working alongside with me, and I hope to see you soon again. Take care. Bye.